Good morning, everybody.
Morning, how are you today? Happy Tuesday.
You probably recognize the place. I think this is Kelly's potager or potager or whatever.
Potager.
Potager. She says
We're
potager.
in my veggie garden, and we are going to. I'm just collecting some seeds from my hollyhock plant that will get donated this fall, and we are going to divide a peony for you today. We're about at the ragged end of when to divide perennials, but you know what? Peonies are sort of the queen of the perennial garden, but they're also diehards. You really can't kill them. They're pretty awesome plants. So we're going to start with our pruners first. Tom, do you have your pruners?
My pruners. Oh, I didn't bring
Oh
my
my
pruners.
gosh, Tom.
I thought it's not the tool episode. I thought we were.
You don't even have a costume change today.
I don't even. I thought I'd go plain because this is our last episode for 2021.
Yeah, this is our last episode.
Yep. So what's important here is when you're splitting to understand that if you're going to split your plants, which is a good thing for many of them because over a couple of years they may be overgrown, maybe the blooming isn't as robust as it used to be.
Or maybe you just want to get them the heck out of here because they're taking up space.
Which is
the
the case
food
here.
You'd rather be growing.
Which is the case here.
Yes.
But if you're going to split, you got to keep in mind that the ground freeze here, we're probably still 8, maybe 9 weeks away from when that'll happen here in Rochester. So we're still good. Usually they ask for 4 to 6 weeks to get something in the ground once you split it before the ground hardens. So going to help out Kelly here. At least I'll try to help out Kelly.
So I am cutting off the top growth of the peony to make sure that we have easy access to the eyes. Boy, I hope they can hear me.
Yep.
And we're going to start digging over here on this side.
So we're going to take the whole thing out, or are we splitting in half? Or?
Well, I want this whole thing out of here.
She wants the whole thing out of here.
So if you want peonies, go ahead and post a comment. I've got white peonies, I've got dark pink peonies, and I've got a light medium pink peony. And these are the standard Sunday old-fashioned varieties that you have known for years in your grandma's garden.
Yep.
So
and if you don't catch them in the spring, you may not know what color they are.
Right, exactly. So
okay.
Just cutting down this top growth here quickly with my pruners. And really changes the look of the garden. This is an area of my vegetable garden that I needed to clean out anyway because it's encroaching on my veggie space. But having flowers in your vegetable garden is important. It supports pollinators, adds a little bit of extra color, and they're pretty.
Yep.
Everybody likes to take a little bouquet of flowers into their kitchen sink or have on your nightstand or on your dining room table over the summer. So,
of course, these are spring blooming peonies.
Right.
So
peonies bloom in the spring, so we divide them when, Tom?
in the fall.
In the fall. When do we divide summer and fall blooming?
Then we
perennials?
do that in the springtime.
Right.
And there's still a chance for. I mean, there's plenty of time for them to get established. It's easier to kind of pick them out,
Exactly.
spread
yeah.
them. Like I do that with my hostas a little bit. Maybe even some of my daylilies. So.
So this peony has been here probably since the 60s. My home was built in 1915, and I actually I'm either the second or third owner of this home, and the family put these peonies in a long time ago. So they're really spread out. This peony is this wide. The base of the roots are this wide, so 36 inches. This plant is a full 36 inches wide at the base. And it's got little clusters, so we're going to try and dig up just a cluster of the little pips that are coming up. And if you look down here, Tom,
Yep.
you probably have this close up.
Oh, I can see the growth. Yeah,
You
some
can
growth,
see the
yeah.
little pips ready for next year. So let's
year.
see.
And this is also a good sign of when to maybe split. Is you get sometimes that bald spot in the middle of the crown. You see that with irises quite a bit.
Yeah.
And I see it with my Hemerocallis.
Hemerocallis daylilies.
Hemerocallis daylilies, yep. So when they kind of get that bald spot in the middle, it's sometimes a good time to split as well. All right, so do you want me to fork from this side, or what do you, I can get my other shovel.
I'm just trying to expose these roots here.
Okay. You want me to get my other shovel?
You can if you want. You could try that spot right there. I'm going to actually cut this.
Okay. So we're going to take this in several pieces.
Yep. Here, cut right there. Step on that right there. Wow. He's a runner. Such power.
Yeah,
such power.
Well, I didn't. And they're pretty tough. I mean, they have a soft tissue roots, but they are
Very tuberous.
very tuberous, but very.
So-
Oh, look at those.
So this one,
Look at
get that dandy out of there. Oops. So this one has come apart, and we severed quite a bit of the roots, but you can see that. Oh, whoa. You can see that a lot of these roots have been hollowed out, and it's breaking apart nicely and separating. And each one of these has an eye or two. There's another one coming apart here. See this?
And you
So
wanna
these are
have
so ready to come apart.
And you want to have about what 3 to 5 shoots, and
Well,
maybe a couple roots.
3 to 5 eyes is ideal, I
Eyes
guess,
is
if
great.
you're paying for a peony.
Okay.
But there's no reason why you can't plant this one with 1 eye,
Okay.
this one with 2 eyes, and this one with 1 eye together to create your next peony plant. So we're just going to continue to dig these up, and we're going to put them here in the wheelbarrow,
Okay.
which is one of those best favorite tools that everybody should have.
Do another one. Probably have time for one more before we think. Oh, what's that?
This is a part of that huge horizontal. but
Holy
see,
cow! Look at
see how
that.
it's hollow inside? This peony has been here for a long time. I'm so glad to be getting rid of it.
Yeah, I'm going to see if I can show you here, but look at how this is hollowed out inside here. So, yep. So is this root any good? I mean, would this still?
If it's got an eye on it, perhaps. Okay, this one has
This
3
does not-
eyes.
I don't see.
So
an
these
eye.
are just breaking apart beautifully. This may have been a real challenge to divide several years ago before the big pieces kind of started breaking apart. But this is just awesome. These are just beautiful little peony. Going to be beautiful little peony
Show you
plants
this
in the spring.
So look at how look at the beautiful eyes in there getting started here. You got a good 3 tuber roots here. So this will be a perfect peony plant to put in the ground here this fall.
Yeah. And normally I'd use a fork for this, but because this peony is so mature, it's really just
Wow.
coming apart on its own. So, and then take that up to the camera and you'll show how you'll want to cut that bad part off with a knife, just
part right
separating
here?
with a knife. Yeah, you'd cut that off. You want to check for borers and make sure that there's no borers in there.
So
You
again, here's
also-
where the hollowing is, and so you'll want to probably cut this one off right here. You can see the nice eyes coming up.
And then also on these peonies, you want to make sure that you don't have any invasives included in your roots. So for instance, here is the root of, oh yuck, I hate this plant, Campanula rapunculoides. It's one of the most evil plants on the planet. It ranks right up there with Canadian bull thistle, except for that the blossoms are loved by bees, just like Canadian bull thistle, it feeds the goldfinch. So this is an invasive root that kind of wedged its way into this other, these peony roots. So you wanna make sure that you don't have invasive roots in with your peony roots. You want to just plant the peony. You don't want any grass in here, no dandelions, no Campanula rapunculoides.
Because once you plant this in the ground and those are in there, you're going to have a tough time getting it
Yeah,
out
and
later.
it can be there for 40 years. Here's
Yeah.
a leaf right here from the Campanula, so you can
Yeah.
see that it's going through right here on top. It's crisscrossing.
The good
and
thing
there's a
is
little bit of roots.
the root's a little bit different
So right
color,
there.
shape. Yep. It's easier
Yep.
to pick that out from the peony.
Yeah, so
Okay.
here's some more. So that's how you divide a peony. Pretty easy.
Great. This
Pretty
is pretty
easy.
awesome. So,
Yeah.
and I'm hoping to take 1 or 2 home. So.
Or 9 or 10.
9.
And please, if somebody wants some peonies,
This is the peony place.
this is the peony place. Post a comment because I'm probably going to have.
On
I
that
bet.
place.
I bet
Dozen.
40 plants by the time I get these 3 peonies that I have divided up. All right, Tom. So what are we doing next here?
Well. Yeah.
Are we going to ask questions?
Yeah, so we got some questions. If you have some questions, you'll have to post them. We're going to take the camera. I'll go look at it shortly here. But we do have some questions for each other, which we'll get to.
I have a
So,
question for you right now. Yeah, we'll sit down.
She has a question for me right now.
Yeah, so you're sort of you don't cook with food much because you don't tend to grow food much like I do. I'm mostly a food grower
Yep.
as a gardener, and you're more of an ornamental. You grow a lot of hops because you're a brewmaster and you've got Bellsmith Tap Room, and you're a pretty awesome brew grower, but I don't want to hear about your hop, malted,
Oh,
roasted,
gosh.
dry hopped, wet hopped recipes. I want to hear about what you like to make
So what
of your food.
Yeah, so what I love about Minnesota is people having abundance of tomatoes, cucumbers, onions, things like that, because I generally love making salads. So probably salads are my number one forte. I do love my green vegetables, broccolis, asparagus, things like that, Brussels sprouts. But I do love making a salad, and I usually make too big of a salad. So that's
You
pretty
usually
much
make-
my go-to if I'm going to eat something healthy out of the garden.
You make too big of a salad?
Oh, I'm always, yeah.
Is there ever too big of a salad?
Well, it depends on how much, if I'm going to have some other food with the meal. But so that's pretty much it. So how about you, Kelly? What do you love to, especially this time of year, what do you like cooking?
Well, I love it that the squash are coming on because I make a really pretty killer curried apple squash soup.
Now squash, so we got some squash yesterday, and yeah, that's something, there's some talent.
Yeah,
in making that.
actually squash is, we could supply our entire community here, Olmsted County, by growing squash. It is one of the crops that grows really well here, very easily, and there is no reason to import squash into Rochester at all. We can all grow it, and it's such an easy crop. So I love to do that. I've experimented with some salsa verde this year because I've had a bumper crop of green tomatoes. I have 30.
Everybody
32
makes
plants.
salsa.
Yeah.
Somebody's
Yeah.
got a salsa recipe. I'm
Yeah.
sure everybody's
and
making
I
salsa.
was really pleased to see that my pico salsa recipe is the one that was featured in this really cool film on the Food Justice film series back in September. It's just 4 ingredients. It's tomatoes, onions, cilantro, jalapenos. And you just zip it in your food processor, and it is, oh my gosh, it is so good. And it's fresh, it's yummy, and I even canned some of it. So
Okay.
I have some on the shelves for winter.
So that balance between the cilantro and the jalapeno, that's, some people go a little bit more cilantro. And it's
Yeah,
more of a,
I put a whole bunch in
Yeah.
there, and I fill it up. I use a bunch per batch because I just love it. And then my other favorite recipe that I always, well, there's actually 3 that I always make every summer. We love fried green tomatoes, and we just kind of have a meal on that. I love to make eggplant parmigiana, so I make that with my eggplant, and I experimented with 2 varieties this year, which were fun. So we had a big pan of that, and I'll make another one. And then the only other thing that I make for sure every year is chili relleno. And my poblanos didn't come as well this year. It wasn't a good pepper year in the beginning of the year. It was too hot for blossoms to
Yeah.
form. Yeah, because blossoms don't form on peppers like much above 83.
They're going good now
Yeah,
with the
they're,
moisture we've
yep,
had, so.
they're going great now. So chili relleno is my other one. So I love to cook chili relleno.
that's my number one Mexican dish.
Oh, is it really? I love
Yes,
it. Yeah, I
I
always
know.
judge a Mexican restaurant on the chili relleno.
I know.
Yeah.
And I got that from my dad because he always got the chili relleno. Okay.
Yeah.
So we each have a question for each other, which we came up with. So my question, which I'm sure everybody is thinking the same thing.
Burning question.
Burning question for Kelly is, what is your secret for remembering all the plant scientific names? You know, the family, the genus, the species. Come on, Kelly, how do you do that?
I don't know. Maybe I have a little bit of an odd brain. I don't know. I love it. But when I was a nursery manager back in the late 90s, after I first did my training for Master Gardener training, I first did it in 98, and I was the assistant manager of a nursery, and I just kind of dove into memorizing all of the scientific names, all of the Latin names for stuff, and it just stuck. I used to have a difficult time with the plant families, but now I don't, because I understand that crop rotation and to preserve your soil biology, minimize viral and bacterial pathogens in your garden, you want to rotate your crops. So if you know the plant families, Brassicaceae, Solanaceae, Cucurbitaceae, if you know those, you can rotate through. So I've just gotten those in the last couple of years. So, but I'm kind of a scientific, nerdy kind of a person anyway, so it comes naturally for me.
I always look to try to tag it. I'm kind of a visual learner, so that's why I put plant signs in my gardens, because if I see it and then I can say, there's the genus, species, but I need to add families. I'm going to start adding families.
Families are a tough one for me. But yeah, they really
are
are important. Yeah.
Because then you know, like the structure, you know how the leaf, whether it's a biennial or a perennial or how the leaf structures, the stem, all those kind of things
Yeah.
that tie into it,
They're
right?
important, yeah. And I think I labeled a lot more when I was more of a novice gardener, but at this point, I'm feeling like I'm becoming this old gray-haired grandma, even though I'm nowhere near being a grandma. I'm like Miss Rumphius, that kid's book story, or I'm like that older neighbor lady next door who has this wild garden, and I think I'm headed there,
Let's not
unfortunately.
talk about
Yeah.
older. So I think I
Okay,
win that battle.
next question.
Okay, and then she has a question for me. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, this was a biggie. So we need people to grow seeds for the seed library. The seeds that we offer every year are standard 44 to 45 varieties. I asked Tom to grow some lettuce seed. Oh my gosh, it would have been like I asked him to walk across North America. He didn't know how to do it. He was scared. And it's like, growing seeds is like the easiest thing in the world. Growing seeds is like way easier than even growing veg, because when you're growing veg, you got to pay attention. Growing seeds is just like you let the sucker go. So what was your reluctance
was
in
my
growing seeds? What was stressing you out about it? Why?
So a couple things. First of all, I'm not so much into the seed saving because I'm a snowbird, and so I will not be here
Yeah.
January and February.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of room in my basement because I have barrels filled with brew and other things.
Yeah, you even use seeds for beer, the barley seeds.
I did learn, and I will post that on my my brewing tap room about the malting process I did with barley. But so that's one lame excuse. So I get a slow start, and then so in March and April I'm like, okay, seeds. Is it too late, too early? And then I really struggled this year. You know, we moved into our house and put tons of trees in. I have so much shade. So I ended up just putting them in pots, and it took me a while to get the soil and the pots and all that stuff going. And I did enjoy a couple BLTs.
Good,
with
yeah.
their
So you
seeds,
had really great lettuce, which you can do when you're growing seeds.
But
you
they
still
didn't
get
bolt.
To eat the
They didn't
vegetables.
bolt, and I didn't get the seeds. Other than my chives, which are perennials, they come up anyway. So I did save those seeds, even though I don't really need to.
We offer them. We offer them in the seed library too.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So I'm hesitant, but I'll tell you, I learned a lot. You know, with Kelly here, the AKA Seed Library or
seed lady. The seed
lady. Look into it. I mean, it's a great thing. What I think is cool is you don't have to end up going to some retailer and looking up seeds or going online and looking at them. I mean, you know, if this grew last year and you really enjoyed that vegetable, then, you know, save the seeds.
Yeah, save
And
money. It's so
save
much
the
more
money, save
economical.
seeds
It
and-
fosters plant biodiversity, food justice, grow your own. Whoop whoop whoop.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we
Any
have
more?
one more question that we're each going to answer, and this is tough because this will be our 17th episode.
Do
so
we get graded on this?
this
I don't
one,
like tests.
yeah, you guys probably we might have to do a poll after this. But so Kelly, what was your favorite episode
Of our show?
that we did? Yes.
Oh, golly.
Not that other people are doing, but what we
Oh,
did.
I don't have a favorite show. I'm just going to go rogue. Real shocker there. I'm going to go rogue and say instead what I really enjoyed about our show is our super elevated level of lameness that we started with finally grew and matured to sort of a mediocre level.
Yeah, we're pretty mediocre right now.
Yeah, we're pretty mediocre. So we have really grown and matured as a
Somebody
show.
once told me the
Da,
world is
da,
gonna
da, da,
roll
da.
me.
Not the sharpest tool in the shed. Yeah, there we
Anyway,
are. There
that's
we are.
us.
So that's
Well,
that's
gosh, I
me.
was going to actually say one, but I did. Obviously, the Smart Garden.
Oh, the
probably
Smart
the
Garden,
biggest
yeah.
shares, a ton of hits. I think I looked at it as like close to 700 visits and views. But the one I enjoyed actually because it's different from my organized structure was Susie Olson's when we did that and we kind
Yeah,
of went
yep.
through her front yard, her backyard. There was just so much. It was like going through a menagerie of just. I mean, there were just tons of spaces, and
Really a
Kelly's
neat
got a lot
space.
here. But
really a neat space.
I mean, and
yeah.
you're sitting there going, I always think of if I can get 3 ideas out of a garden like that. But I really just enjoyed walking through that. It was just a wonderful time. So, with that,
Are we at time?
I think we're
we
pretty much
really
at
made
time.
people listen for a long time today. It's hard. I know. It's going to be hard for you all. You have to say goodbye to us. This is our last episode for the year, and we understand the grief that will ensue. we understand that a very long winter is coming. So
We haven't signed up for counseling yet, but we may
Oh, no,
consider-
we haven't, yeah. Make sure you imbibe.
Yep.
Make sure you continue to eat your fresh leafy greens. Source them reputably.
And we are Olmsted County Extension Master Gardener Volunteers. I'm
And
the
we're busy-
current chair.
yeah.
She's the vice chair.
Yep.
And we are growing in this community. We have 17 interns coming in.
We actually had a new intern application. She missed the October 1st deadline and she said, can I still put my application in? And we said yes. And I think I told somebody the other day, geez, the application's closed October 1st. So whoever that was, see if you can put an application in anyway. We love to teach you. We want more people growing things. We want more diversity in our community to help people understand our soils, our plant world, and the benefits that it brings to all of us in all of our environment. So yeah, we're here for you. Reach out. Olmsted County Extension Master Gardeners with University of Minnesota Extension.
Extension Master Gardeners. So with that, goodbye
See ya!
everybody.
Rock your
Rock your day.
Rock
your
your
day. All right.
Gosh, we probably woke up the neighborhood.
Well, I can't get this thing off.
Oh no, are they still listening?
They're still listening to me.